Over the last few months, UK immigration has become one of the biggest political debates in Britain. According to national polling and major media reports, Reform UK has rapidly surged in popularity, winning more than 1,300 council seats in 2026 local elections after already winning 677 seats the previous year. They are now polling close to 27 to 28% nationally. And why does this matter to immigrants? Because immigration is now at the center of British politics, from discussions around abolishing ILR, yes, to increasing salary thresholds, to tightening graduate visa rules, to stricter English language requirements. The conversation around migration in the UK is changing fast. Even the UK government's own immigration white paper proposed major reforms, including extending the pathway to settlement from 5 to 10 years in some categories. At the same time, according to data widely reported by BBC and UK media, the net migration became one of the most searched and debated political topics after recent elections, showing just how strongly immigration is influencing public opinion and future policy discussions. So, today's podcast is not about fear, it's not about politics, it's about facts. It's about understanding what's actually being proposed. And most important, what it could mean for migrants, students, skilled workers, families, and people planning their future in the UK. And to break all of this down clearly and professionally, I'm joined once again by Amil from MAC25 Immigration. We'll discuss Reform UK's published immigration policies, what changes could realistically happen, whether ILR rules could change, impact on skilled workers and students, and what current migrants should do right now, and whether people should be genuinely worried about the future of the UK immigration. This is probably one of the most important immigration discussions we have done on this channel. So make sure you stay with me till the end. So without any further delay, let me introduce you guys to Amil. Hi Amil, welcome once again to Your Knowledge Buddy. And without your introduction, we'll go to our topic today. And today's topic is all about the results and the impact from the UK local election, especially for my audience who are immigrants and who are looking to settle down in the UK. They are worried. They want to know what can be the possible impact. So before we start with today's topic, I just want to let my audience know that today's discussion is everything about, which is already publicly shared by the Nigel Farage in his public conferences and on his Reforms UK official published policy at reformparty.uk policies. There's nothing we are framing any answers or questions around it. And we are trying to answer, or we are trying to discuss this topic in simple words so that you guys understand it better.
Of course.
Because there had been many statements which had been publicly made by Nigel Farage. Okay. So in simple terms and simple language, we are going to talk about it rather than getting into the literal meaning of it. So what is the biggest change you think may have today, given that Reform did so well in the local election?
I think before I answer, I would like to give a small disclaimer from my end as well. Because as Sarika rightly said, this video is made obviously for the Knowledge Buddy audience or whoever is subscribed with Sarika's channel for a very long time. Here we are not talking about who's good and who's bad. Here we are not talking about that Mr. Nigel Farage or Mr. Keir Starmer, currently the Prime Minister as of today, who's doing right or who's doing wrong. It's only about the fact that how the local election have impacted, how the people are taking it, and how there are obviously misrepresentation and panicking happening across migrants. So it's all related to the official guidance and policy, and nothing is being made, and none of the answers and question is from Sarika's or my opinion. So yeah, to answer your first question, what is happening? A lot of things are happening. Okay. So it wasn't expected that Reform Party is going to have a landslide victory as far as the local elections are concerned. And the current ruling party, Labour Party, have got a big defeat as far as the local election is concerned. And the reason Reform Party is coming up the charts, the sole reason is they are pressing the biggest issues the country has ever faced, which is immigration. So they are very sure about the fact that how they want to deal with migrants, what policies they want to form where they can control the net migration, and what other party has also been trying to do for the last 5 years. But they are very certain about the fact that immigration is the number one responsibility.
Okay. So I had been reading a lot actually what's happening and how Nigel Farage had been addressing in the public. He talked a lot about immigrants and controlling them. So I'm going to ask you, do you think that our audience should be worried or not?
See, I'll tell you. General elections are to be held in 2029.
Correct.
Right, we are in 2026. We don't know until and unless something major happens and the ruling party thing moves from labor to reform or whatever happens. But the local election can only impact housing, it can impact the infrastructure, transport, and some enforcement activities. But no way local election is has got any authorization over immigration. So these are whatever they have said in the press conference or whatever have been issued in the policy for reform. It's not a law yet. So they are just discussing that once they come into power, it could be in 2026, 2029, whenever the general election happens. This is the procedure they are going to follow. So this is what they are calling as the manifesto. Once we comes into power, this is what things are going to look like.
Okay. So they are saying, suggesting when they are in power, they are
Yeah.
going to do it. As of now, today, they are not.
Of course.
So we don't know
Yes.
the impact and when it will happen.
Yeah.
The biggest thing that I read, and I was like, ooh, okay. They talked about abolishing the ILR.
Yeah.
That is the first thing. And then they also talked about rescind existing awards, which I learned it now. Rescind means taking away the
Yeah, the existing
existing
ILR.
ILR
Yeah.
from people, withdrawing the ILR rights
Yeah.
from someone who has already
Yeah.
got it.
Yeah.
So for someone who's already here now in the UK, either say for their skilled worker visa, say 4 years already in it, counting their ILR period. So what does risk in existing award actually mean for them?
See, to start from the beginning, what you asked me that I was watching the press conference live when he said about all these things. He said one reporter just asked him that there are so many people who are with their family in the UK. So are you going to split them up or there's going to be separation? So he said there are 800,000 people, which is close to a million, who will be eligible for indefinite leave to remain in the next 3 to 4 years. If I am into power, as Mr. Nigel Farage, they won't be getting the ILR.
Because you want to stop that. As simple
They
as
just
that.
want to stop that. That's thing number one. Obviously, we'll go into a more technical aspect going forward. But as far as the ILR is concerned, there is something called as rescind existing awards, which means if you already hold an ILR in the country, they are going to take it away from you. But it is a legislative act. Okay, it will take years of establishment. They need to go through the parliament. This is not something like an English language requirement that from 8th of January 2026 the level
Come
is
and do
from
that.
B1 and B2. It would have a major repercussions as far as the courts are concerned. They would be having serious legal challenges. So it is not that easy to implement.
Thank you, Amil. Again, I think everything that I read was concerning. So again, the next one that I read was about the salary threshold.
Yeah.
So last year, already on 22nd of July 2025, the new salary threshold was defined as 41,700.
Yeah.
Now, reform, they're proposing a salary threshold of 60,000 annually. So if they do that, for example, then most of the people who are, say, under nurses, teachers, care workers, and maybe even engineers, and even few more in IT as well,
Yeah.
they won't be able to meet this salary threshold at all. So how do you think this is going to affect the migrants, and how is the economy going to survive with this?
See, right now the median salary of UK is 31,600 something. Okay. So even after the policy changed to 41,700, most of my clients are struggling.
Yeah, exactly.
Be it IT as well. It's not just about restaurants or care or takeaway and stuff like that. Even IT companies are struggling with that. Basically, they only want to make a limited set of skilled workers for limited amount of companies and limited type of industries, and they want to completely put a halt on the skilled worker as far as the policies are concerned. So if you are talking about 60,000 pounds, we are not yet getting over the 41,700 thing as yet. But 60,000 pound would be something which will be putting a complete full stop as far as the overseas hiring is concerned. So
Correct.
the most number of industry which would be impacted would be hospitality, it would be definitely care, transport industries, and care industry would be heavily impacted with these salary requirements.
Yeah, I think almost all the industry will be impacted
Yeah.
because achieving the salary of £60,000, I
Yeah.
don't think it is that easy unless until you have some niche skill
Yeah.
and you have some definitely good years of experience around it.
You see the current SOC codes, even the current SOC codes after July 2025, they have abolished most of the roles.
Correct.
So if I'm getting consultation with councils, what I had in the past, they want to genuinely hire somebody who's from Nigeria and they are not able to give them a specific administrative role. It's not just about making a diary or being a receptionist, it's a proper admin role what the
Yeah.
council consists of. But they're not able to hire him, they are not able to afford the salary. At the end of the day, even if they make it 60, I think just before that, things are, getting messed up already.
Correct. Okay, Amil, now moving to the next question. So I'm going to just quote this properly what I have written because I don't want to get it wrong. Reforms published policy commits to leaving the European Convention on Human Rights and repealing the Human Rights Act. For migrants who rely on Article 8, the right to family life, in appeals and visa challenges, what would the loss of these protections actually mean for them?
See, let me make it easier for your audience, okay?
Yes, please. Thank
So,
you.
European Convention on Human Rights, in short, it is known as ECHR,
Okay.
okay? So, ECHR has been an parliament act which have been in the country for like decades and decades, okay? So, it avoids any family to separate, it provide them protection. If let's say if anything is happening, let's say if somebody is on immigration bail, right, they cannot switch to a skilled worker visa, but if they have got a British partner or a British child, they can apply on the base of the human grounds. So what Mr. Nigel Farage stated, they want to repeal the ECHR, the Human Rights Convention, and they want to make sure that the courts also lose as far as these things are concerned.
Thank you, Amal, for explaining that in simple language for me and the audience. I'm going to move to the next point, which is about reform. Also mentioned that they're proposing a new visa category.
Yeah.
And it did say, let me put it correctly, acute skills shortage visa. ASS visa.
Yeah.
And limited to sectors with genuine shortages,
Yeah.
maybe I don't know. It doesn't say which. Maybe care industry, maybe for healthcare or hospitality, maybe.
Yeah.
And they also, but what they mentioned was. With a condition that for every overseas worker they hire, the employer must train a British worker.
Yeah.
So, from your experience in immigration, is that kind of one in one train model actually workable?
See, I'll tell you something. This ASSV, acute system skilled worker, what they are saying, it would be mostly related to IT industry. Okay, because they are the one who needs skilled people for a huge amount of time as far as the projects are concerned, and they have already taken out hospitality and they've already taken out other industry, care of course. So I think IT would be the only industry, and AI probably they would be requiring this kind of visas. And I'll give you my opinion, okay? If somebody is saying that for one skilled worker you need to train one British applicant and stuff like that, I have got many clients, I'll tell you from my own consultation, from my own notes, who are based in remote towns in Wales, in Garston, in small towns and villages in England. They have tried for the last 6 months, but they are not able to fetch any local people as well for the jobs. So this is the practical example I'm giving you from my own experience. Because if we are saying that we need to train a specific British individual or somebody like that, here people are actually suffering, because it's not just about London, Manchester, Birmingham, Scotland, Edinburgh, all bigger cities. It's about people who are still struggling for the small towns, and I have seen people coming just for the sake of one individual and apply for the sponsor license, because they say we are trying for the last 1 year, and I'm talking about IT companies. They are based in remote areas of England. They are not able to hire anyone. They get 20 CVs, 30 CVs. They call local people for the interviews, but nobody turns up. As far as migrants are concerned, they are not concerned about how much we are getting. They are only thinking about the fact that are we able to get the opportunity of working in the country. That's the only thing.
I think you need to put those employees in touch with me, because if I publish their jobs on my podcast or my website, definitely there are a lot of people in my audience who are looking for a job. So they will not struggle for sure if I know where they are publishing it. Either it's LinkedIn, Read, Indeed. Yeah. So
But
I can help him.
unfortunately, we are not authorized to link. Yes.
Yes, that's true. Thank you, Amil. I'm going to move to the next bit that he talked about, especially around students and graduate visa. He had mentioned about a backdoor, like a pathway. We know we had heard in different discussions. So he want to stop foreign students taking places from British students. Yeah, is this a signal that the graduate visa, a 2-year post-study work visa, would be the first thing scrapped under reform government? Just a reminder, as we know, from Jan this year, coming Jan, it's
2027.
in 2027, yes, already the graduate visa is reducing to 1.5 years.
18 months. Yeah.
18 months, right? So now the reform is already claiming that many students come to the UK for immigration purposes rather than education, and
Yeah.
hence they want to stop foreign students.
Yeah.
So, what do you think about this?
See, anyways, as you rightly said, the graduate route is getting scrutinized by the Home Office, right?
100%.
And as far as Reform Party is concerned, they have not specifically mentioned anything about the graduate route per se.
Okay.
But yes, they have mentioned about the students and the immigration part of it. But as far as the graduate route is concerned, I actually don't see any positive signs going forward for that if they come into power. Because even if, let's say, the current party is into power, the students are getting 6 months less as compared to what they are getting now. And I think that would be the first thing that any party would be looking after to scrap away.
Scrap that. What have you seen so far? I mean, what is Labour's response to reforms proposal so far? And especially, for example, whatever we have seen in the white paper proposal about, say, extending the ILR from 5 to 10 years, reducing, already we are doing the graduate visa, and tightening the English language that we were already talking about. Now, is Labour already moving in the same direction as reform, just at a slower pace maybe, but they are also going in that direction? Like you rightly said, your clients are struggling. My students, my mentees, they are struggling because achieving that kind of salary is not what they're able to get easily, unless until they really have a good relevant experience. So what does that mean for migrants already in the UK?
See, as far as reform and labor is concerned, for any party to work around immigration is very easy. Okay, when we talk about the graduate route, when we talk about the English language requirement, those are very easy bits for any party to implement it as quickly as possible. But what Labour is doing right now, they are not against people getting settled into the UK. But what reform is saying, they just don't want people to go till that level only.
Yeah.
You're getting my
So
point.
they're not saying you will get ILR. It's a renewable visa.
Exactly.
Very much like UAE. You can go and work in UAE. You don't settle there.
Of course, in GCC countries, on all the Gulf countries, they want to bring that culture into United Kingdom because they want that the net migration will automatically drop if UK becomes a less favorable destination for any immigrant based outside of the country. And this is what I'm hearing now, just with the local elections results coming in. So if SSV comes into play and if ILR is no more into existence, then the UK will have a huge loss as far as the contribution is concerned for the UK economy, I would say.
Yeah. Okay. But I think they also need to see there are other countries which allows people to settle. Maybe Australia, Germany, a lot of European countries. Let's say almost all the European countries. I'm not aware of any European country which doesn't allow you to settle. And so maybe they are inspired by UAE because they want to cut down on net migration, right, at the moment. Okay, so we talked a lot about what is being said by Nigel Farage in the public conference. We also touched about some of the Reforms UK official published policy. Let's summarize everything that we have discussed or you have read. From my short memory, they're saying they don't want to give ILR anymore. They want to stop
Right.
that ILR. They will have like a renewable work visa like
Yeah.
UAE does. That is the
ESSV.
first thing.
Yes. Yes.
Salary threshold, they said they want to increase to 60,000 pounds.
Yes. 800,000 people who are eligible for the ILR in the next 3-4 years, they won't be
They
getting
won't be
it.
getting it. Yeah.
They want to repeal the ECHR, which is one of the most biggest step anyone can ever think of, repealing the Human Rights
Yeah.
Act in the country. Then they are talking about the fact that obviously in their manifesto they are talking good things as well. Mr. Zia Yusuf, who's the potential Home Secretary, if reform comes into power, he says they want to stop the illegal boats and
Okay.
which is crossing the English Channel,
Which is good.
which is good, which is we are always pro that. We always love the fact that if illegal migration is cut off as much as possible, that's the most important, and we should always talk about the positives as well, not to just
Yeah,
look
yeah,
at the
definitely.
negatives. So as far as the press conference is concerned, they have also said about the illegal boats, which is very common now, passing through English channels. But as far as the migration is concerned, yes, they would be against the graduate route as well.
Yeah.
They would be against for the fact that nobody should be settling permanently in the UK. Skilled worker visa will just become history, and ASSV, Acute system skilled visa, would come into existence if they come into power.
Yeah.
So see, in a nutshell, what they are saying, that they don't want anybody to get settled into the UK. You just come. It would be just like another student visa. You come, study, and go back. So
Yeah.
it would be like you come, work, and go back.
Yeah.
As straightforward as
Yeah.
that.
Or simple as UAE, the way they say, you come, work here, and go back.
Exactly.
Until the time you have your work visa, which
Of
is your
course.
renewal visa,
Yeah.
you work and then go back to your
Yeah,
country.
exactly.
It doesn't
It would
lead to
be like that.
settlement. That is
Yeah.
what it says.
Yeah,
Okay. Is there any talks about somewhere, anywhere you saw they talked about other visa categories, say global talent visa, innovative founder visa? Because what we're focusing more is on skilled worker visa,
Yeah.
because that is the main route
Yeah.
people take to settle down.
Yeah.
Did they talk anything about other visa categories as well?
See, Zarika, I've seen your videos as well. As far as global talent and innovator founder is concerned, firstly, it is very difficult to get those visas in place. And I have seen people who already hold a innovator founder visa, it's getting withdrawn by the endorsement body themselves, because it is very difficult to maintain those things. So as far as good collaboration is concerned, definitely you need a good partner to help you with those global talent and innovator founder as well. Skilled worker visa is something which is completely under the employer's control. That's the reason it has been scrutinized. But innovator founder global talent visa has got an endorsement body in between, so it makes a much more different perspective as far as the net migration is concerned.
Correct. Thank you, Amil. What is next coming now? We had been talking about the white paper. We are talking about the new changes, proposals. What's next? What do we expect more in the coming days or weeks now?
Hopefully we'll get to know about what's happening with the current government, because the thing has been completely shifted from new immigration ILR rules to what's going to happen with the current ruling party. And hopefully if those things get sorted out, then in the coming months we'll be looking to get all the other rules also being implemented, like ILR and stuff like that, because the consultations are already done on 12th of Feb. So
Yes, correct.
we just have to wait and watch how
Exactly.
things comes up.
Exactly. And whenever that news is out, we will definitely bring Amil and we'll talk about it in detail so that we know what's the impact, or there's no impact, or what it means for you guys.
Definitely.
And if you guys want to get in touch with Amil, all the links are provided in my video description and pinned comment. Go and click it. Thank you for coming and sharing your knowledge with nowadays.
Thank you, Sarika. Thank you, everyone.